from going viral overnight to fading into irrelevance, from dining with celebrities and presidents, to being publicly humiliated at global sporting events, from bragging about $100,000 receipts at his luxury steakhouses, to watching his empire collapse piece by piece. This is the story of Salt Bae, a man who captured the internet's imagination with one meme, turned it into a global empire, and then lost it all to ego, greed, and arrogance. Hi, this is Late Night Catch-Up. I create weekly documentaries on the rise and fall of internet icons, and today we're going to unravel how one of the most viral figures of the 2010s went from icon to embarrassment. Salt Bae's journey isn't just about steak, it's about what happens when internet fame burns too hot, too fast, and when the person behind the meme starts believing they're untouchable. Chapter 1. Humble beginnings. Nusret Gökçe was born in 1983 in a small, impoverished Turkish village. His father was a mine worker, grinding long hours underground for little pay. The family barely scraped by. At age 13, Nusret dropped out of school to work full-time in a butcher shop in Istanbul. He worked 13-hour days, 7 days a week, with no days off. Imagine being a teenager, spending your entire youth covered in animal fat, learning how to cut meat instead of being in a classroom. But for Nusret, this was the start of something. As the years went on, he bounced from one steakhouse to another across Turkey, slowly learning the craft of butchery. Then, in 2007, he made a bold move, borrowing $3,400 to travel abroad. Argentina, the US, South America, everywhere he could study how the world's best handled meat. For 3 years, he immersed himself in learning. By 2010, he was back in Turkey with a new vision. He opened his first steakhouse, tiny, just 8 tables, but it quickly caught the attention of wealthy Turks. One of those impressed was billionaire Ferit Şahenk, who invested in Nusret and helped him expand across the Middle East. By 2016, Nusret was a rising star in the regional food scene. But then came January 7th, 2017, the day that changed everything. Chapter 2. The Viral Explosion. A short clip of Nusret cutting steak in his white shirt and dark sunglasses. Then, the flourish, the salt sprinkle. His wrist bent, fingers dangling like a ballerina, sprinkling salt down his forearm onto the meat. The internet had found its next obsession. That single move transformed Nusret into Salt Bae. Within days, the video had millions of views. Memes exploded. Athletes imitated him in goal celebrations. Late-night TV parodied him. People dressed up as him for Halloween. It wasn't just a viral clip, it was a global cultural moment. And Nusret capitalized immediately. He opened luxury restaurants in New York and London within months. The menus were insane: $100 burgers, $10 Red Bulls, $25 desserts, and of course, the $1,800 gold-plated tomahawk steak. People weren't buying steak. They were buying an experience. The chance to say, "I ate at Salt Bae's restaurant," to see him sprinkle salt at their table, to snap a selfie with him. Week after week, his restaurants filled with A-list celebrities, from athletes like David Beckham to rappers, movie stars, and politicians. Salt Bae had turned a meme into a multi-million-dollar empire. But as fast as he rose, the cracks started to show. Chapter 3. Style over substance. Behind the glitz, the reality was far less glamorous. Food critics were merciless. His London steakhouse sat in the bottom third of all restaurants on TripAdvisor, with hundreds of reviews calling it the biggest scam ever, and all show, no substance. In New York, critics trashed his burger joint, calling the food rubbery, mundane, and a ripoff. The magic wasn't in the food, it was in the performance, and Nusret knew it. Instead of improving quality, he leaned harder into ego. His social media became a shrine to himself. Shirtless poses, flexing muscles, rubbing shoulders with stars. He bragged about 6-figure dinner tabs, posting receipts online like trophies. Salt Bae wasn't just a chef anymore. He was the main course. Chapter 4. Scandals and Silence. Then came the disasters. In 2018, a fire stunt at one of his restaurants went horribly wrong. Flames shot out of control, injuring 4 people. One of them, influencer Tinush Cheshnichkova, suffered third-degree burns over 35% of her body. Salt Bae's response? Nothing. No apology, no statement, just business as usual. That same year, another scandal erupted. Venezuelan dictator Nicolas Maduro and his wife were filmed feasting at Salt Bae's Istanbul restaurant. Gold-plated steaks, cigars, luxury. While back in Venezuela, millions were starving during a historic food crisis. The internet exploded. Protests broke out outside his Miami and New York restaurants. Even US senators weighed in, condemning him. Once again, Salt Bae stayed silent. Chapter 5: The Toxic Empire. But the worst revelations came later. In 2023, Business Insider exposed a dark truth. Salt Bae's empire was built on fear and exploitation. Former staff described him as a dictator obsessed with image. Workers were fired for tiny mistakes, forced to fake crowds outside, even sleep in restaurants without pay during the pandemic. Tips were skimmed or stolen outright. Staff alleged women were told to dress provocatively, harassed by coworkers, and denied promotions if they weren't attractive enough. Customers were lied to, sold cheaper cuts as premium, and given leftover wine in new glasses. Behind the theatrics, it was all a scam. Chapter 6: The World Cup Humiliation. Then came the ultimate embarrassment. December 18, 2022, Argentina wins the World Cup. The players celebrate. Lionel Messi finally has his crowning moment. And then, Salt Bae invades the pitch. He harasses Messi for photos. He grabs other players. He picks up the actual World Cup trophy and poses with it as if he'd won. The internet dragged him. FIFA banned him from future events. Months later, he was kicked out of the Champions League final after-party, reduced to signing autographs outside. Salt Bae had become what he always feared, a punchline. Chapter 7: The Fall. Today, most of his US restaurants are closed. His London location has lost 50% of its profits. Dubai isn't thriving either. Online, his follower engagement has collapsed. Salt Bae, once one of the internet's biggest memes, is now mostly forgotten. Because he never understood what made him famous. It wasn't the steak. It wasn't the restaurants. It was the moment, the salt sprinkle. A joke the internet moved on from. Instead of building something lasting, he chased ego, exploited people, and faked success. He could have been Gordon Ramsay, a chef celebrity who built respect over decades. Instead, he chose shortcuts. And now, he's just another forgotten meme. So what do you think? Was Salt Bae's downfall inevitable? Or could he have held on if he'd focused less on ego and more on substance? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this documentary, hit like, subscribe, and check out my other deep dives into internet fame and failure.